Hi, this is Brendan from Auto Training, and in this tutorial we take a look at Gympie traffic situations part 1. When I think about Gympie, what comes to mind? Gold, the Mary River, the Rattler, and the Music Muster. In 1867, one man's search for personal fortune made the history books when he discovered 75 ounces of gold in the place that later became known as Gympie, the town that saved Queensland. A 2-hour drive up the Bruce Highway from Brisbane, Gympie lies on the Mary River, which floods Gympie occasionally. Numerous highways and roads in and around the city, which were destroyed or damaged during the floods of 2011, were repaired under Operation Queenslander, the name given to post-flood reconstruction efforts in Queensland. Let's take a look at some of the road signs that you will find in Gympie. The main purpose of signs is to communicate to convey information designed to assist the receiver with decision-making based on the information provided. There are 4 types of road signs: regulatory signs, warning signs, guide signs, and information signs. We're going to focus on the first 2 of that list. Regulatory signs. You'll see the regulatory signs often coloured red, white, and black. Not always black, e.g. a stop sign only has red and white, but that gives you an idea on what colours to look for. Regulatory signs inform you of traffic laws and regulations. They tell you what you, as a road user, must do by law in different situations, where it may not be otherwise obvious. Regulatory signs also include parking zone signs and can appear with supplementary signs. Regulatory signs come in 4 distinct shapes: octagons, rectangles, circles, and triangles. At a T-section where 2 roads meet, whether or not at right angles, and one of those roads ends, stop signs and stop lines, that being a continuous line, are used at intersections to control the traffic. When you come to a stop sign, you must stop completely before reaching the stop line, and as close as possible to the line. Where there is no stop line, stop before reaching and as close as possible to the intersection. A stop sign, or a stop line, means you must give way to all vehicles travelling in, entering, or approaching the intersection, whether vehicles are turning left or right or going straight ahead. Here's a stop sign on Mary Street in a 20 km/h speed zone. You must give way to any pedestrians crossing the road into which you are turning. Pedestrians are just one hazard a driver must look out for when driving in Gympie. Let's take a look at the system of vehicle control. Drivers should apply the system of vehicle control. By correct application of the system, the vehicle will always be in the right place on the road, travelling at the right speed, and with the right gear engaged. Let's take a look at the application of the system of vehicle control for left turns at a stop sign. The key steps are: 1. Scan ahead and we note the direction left at the T section. 2. Mirror check, just to see what's happening from behind. For example, there might be a motorcycle zipping up or something like that. 3. Signal with a left indicator. 4. Lower your speed and start to position the vehicle to the left of the lane. 5. Gear down if manual, and mirror left shoulder check for bicycles, etc. Then, as we've already noted, we come to a complete stop. We look up and down the road and then give way. Once clear, we then take a left turn and follow the road. Here's the system of vehicle control applied at a right turn at a T section. Step 1, we give the direction, right, or at the end of the road, take a right turn. 2, check the mirrors. 3, signal with the right indicator. 4, adjust speed and position, that be slowing down and being a little bit more so to the right of lane. Again, it depends what's coming up the road and so forth. Gear down if manual, mirror check, come to a complete stop at the stop line, give way as required, and then we turn right and follow the road. We've also got another type of regulatory sign, the give way sign. You must always give way to give way sign and check it's safe to continue. Give way signs are placed at intersections and other places where other vehicles have priority. Remember, there are lots of situations on the road where you must give way even if there is no sign. You need to give way if you're turning right across the path of an oncoming vehicle at an intersection. Drivers must judge and utilize safe gaps in the traffic when negotiating intersections, lane changing, or merging, and without causing other road users to take evasive action. Drivers should make a correct decision and respond appropriately with regard to judgment of the speed and distance of any traffic or pedestrians. You need to give way if you're doing a U-turn. You must give way to all other vehicles and signal for at least 5 seconds when you drive on to the road from a parked position on the side of the road or in a medium strip. Other giveaway situations include: you need to give way if the rules say you must, you're moving onto a road from a driveway or land next to a road, you're turning left at an intersection with a left turn on red after stopping sign. Roundabouts. So again, the colouring is red, white and black, and it is a regulatory sign. A roundabout is an intersection with an island at its centre in which traffic circulates in a clockwise direction. Roundabouts generally result in fewer motor vehicle crashes than intersections that contain traffic signals, stop or give way signs. Roundabouts not only allow traffic to merge without coming to a complete stop, they tend to flow, or at least that is the intention. Research shows that roundabouts tend to lower the severity of any crashes that might occur by significantly reducing the speed of a collision and by making head-on collisions less likely. The roundabout sign means slow down, prepare to give way, and if necessary, stop to avoid a collision. A vehicle approaching a roundabout must give way to all vehicles already on the roundabout. Some drivers think that they are only required to give way to traffic on their right that is already on the roundabout. This is incorrect. Let's take a look at the procedure for a right turn or a U-turn at a roundabout. Step 1, plan your path. Step 2, check your mirrors. Step 3, position your vehicle in the right lane unless arrows on the road or signs indicate otherwise. Step 4, use your right indicator when you enter the roundabout, or as you approach, I should say. 5, give way to all vehicles already on the roundabout. 6, before exiting, use your left indicator and follow the exit lane marking. 7, stop indicating as soon as you have left the roundabout. Note, do not turn right from the left lane unless arrows on the road indicate otherwise. Going straight ahead. Step 1, plan your path. Step 2, mirror checks. Step 3, position your vehicle in either lane unless the arrows on the road or signs indicate otherwise. Step 4, do not use your indicator until ready to exit. Step 5, give way to all vehicles already on the roundabout. Step 6, before exiting, use your left indicator and follow the exit lane marking. Step 7, stop indicating once you have exited the roundabout. Turning left. Step 1, position your vehicle in the left lane unless arrows on the road or signs indicate otherwise. Step 2, use your left indicator when you enter the roundabout. Step 3, give way to all vehicles already on the roundabout. Step 4, remain in the left lane as you complete your turn. Step 5, continue to use your left indicator as you exit the roundabout. Step 6, stop indicating once you have exited the roundabout. speed signs and driving to conditions. You must not drive faster than the speed limit shown excuse me, in the circle. In all states and territories, the road rules state that a driver must not drive a vehicle in reverse unless it is safe to do so. The law also states that drivers should not reverse a vehicle any further than what is reasonably required. In an insurance liability setting, the driver who is driving in reverse is automatically deemed to be the at-fault driver. The majority of reversing collisions occur at low speed and would be preventable if drivers took some very simple safety precautions and modified their driving behaviour. So we can see here the angle parking on Mary Street. A driver must be aware as they go down that street of those reversing vehicles. Excuse me. As we go along there, we also see there is a caution: pedestrians give way to traffic, to communicate to the pedestrians as to the system that the road is operating by. This is coming to the end of Mary Street. We can see that we have a 20 zone, but as you come out of the 20 zone, you are in a 40 area. And we can see the arrow here pointing to the school zone. So once you go to that roundabout at the end of Mary Street, take a left, you go up the hill towards the school, and you get a school zone. So I'm just going to talk about that for a moment. Some speed limit signs show the times or days that the limit applies, for example, in school zones. In some instances, school zones have flashing lights mounted above the signs to help draw drivers' attention to the school zone. Other variable speed limit signs have a changeable electronic display to show the current speed limit, for example, on motorways and in tunnels. These electronic variable speed limit signs seem similar to normal speed signs, except they have illuminated white numerals surrounded by red lights on a black background. On motorways, long bridges, and in tunnels, these signs may also be combined with road control signs to direct the traffic. Gympie has many primary schools, including the following list. So a driver must be very wary of 40 zones and not only children, but the people picking up the children from school, etc., and also the traffic that brings with it. There are a number of secondary schools as well, and I've listed those as well to be wary of. And now, as the yellow arrow on the left of screen shows us, we have the end of the 40 area. 40 km/h zones are common for recreational and entertainment areas, hospital zones, and CBDs. So it's something to look out for in the CBD of Gympie. Just a little note, the two default speed limits Queensland roads are 50 km/h for built-up residential areas and 100 km/h roads in rural areas. These speed limits are usually not signposted and still require drivers to adjust their speeds depending on the conditions when and where necessary. When speed limits other than the default limits apply, signs are installed to inform drivers of the speed limit. Warning signs. Warning signs let you know that road changes are coming up on your drive. These can be permanent or temporary traffic hazards and obstacles. Up on the left we have a children's sign. Children may be crossing the road ahead, not at a pedestrian crossing. And while we're at that on that diagram or that picture, I've got an arrow pointing to the continuous white center line. Just a note on that, you can cross a single continuous center line to enter or leave a road, including entering or leaving a property, and to safely pass bicycle riders. You cannot cross a single continuous center line to overtake or do a U-turn. Warning sign. This one is a drive in the right direction. These yellow signs appear in sets to outline the curve of the road ahead. You will see 2 or 3 of these signs in a row. Drive in the right direction of these signs. Here we have the signs driving around to the left. And just while we're on that page, we've got double continuous center lines. You must not cross a double continuous centre line except to safely pass a bicycle rider. Here we have a curve sign. A curve is coming up on the road ahead. The arrow shows you the direction of the curve. We also have an advisory speed sign, 60. This sign points out the recommended speed for good weather and road conditions through a hazard. This sign is seen with other warning signs. We've also got a lot of limit points in these types of areas. The limit point is the furthest point which you can see. Slow down, take your foot off the accelerator, and if necessary, brake. It's important to brake in a straight line. In a manual transmission vehicle, shift to a lower gear so that you have enough power to accelerate through the curve or corner in a controlled manner. Now this is a general wildlife sign, animal crossing signs. These signs warn drivers and riders that the road ahead is in an area where wild animals are known to cross or be on the road and can be a hazard. We've got kangaroos, emus, wombats, koalas, brumbies, which are wild horses, and camels. We've also got successive side road intersection or a curve sign. On the curve ahead, there are two intersections made by side roads which are close to each other. Be aware that kangaroos may cross roads at any time. Take particular care at dusk and dawn when kangaroos are active and lighting is poor. Be alert, look out for wildlife feeding near the roadside. Never sound your horn when you see kangaroos grazing, and dip your high beam lights to avoid startling the animals. Here we have a crest sign. The highest point of the hill or mountain is coming up ahead, and visibility of the road ahead may be limited. Then we have a side road intersection or curve sign. The curve is on the road ahead with the intersection at the side road. And then again we have an advisory speed sign. This sign points out the recommended speed for good weather and road conditions through a hazard. This sign is seen with other warning signs. While exceeding the speed limit is often cited as a cause of crashes, inappropriate speed for the road conditions is also frequently reported. Excessive speed can lead to a crash even when driving within the speed limit, while higher speeds are also generally associated with increased crash severity. So we have to be really careful on these rural roads. Effective scanning is essential on rural roads, meaning constantly moving your eyes and or your head when driving so that you can detect hazards that may arise ahead, to the sides and behind your vehicle. Scanning ahead gives you a chance to spot hazards that are shaping up well in advance, e.g. a broken down truck, an accident, the road narrowing to one lane. You will also have time to avoid them. On the left of screen we have a low clearance sign, 3.6 meters, coming up near the Rattler. This sign warns you a height clearance restriction is ahead for a bridge, underpass or other structure. A regulatory low clearance sign will be displayed on these structures. You must ensure the height of your vehicle is under the height measurement on the sign. If your vehicle is higher than the low clearance height, you must not drive through. Use an alternative route. Wide centre lines. A wide centre line or strip replaces the existing centre lines with two new lines that are up to 1 metre apart, but the road rules remain the same. Wide centre lines increase the distance between oncoming lanes of traffic to help prevent head-on crashes. The road rules for wide centre lines are the same as for other dividing lines. Road positioning. The vehicle should be in the correct road position appropriate to the road or traffic situation. Position your vehicle to maximise the distance from hazards, referred to as buffering. Braking. Always comply with the following rules when using your brakes. Brake early and gently where possible. This reduces rear-end collisions. Brake firmly only when travelling in a straight line for control. Vary the braking effort according to the condition of the road surface. Crash avoidance space. A safe, low-risk driver maintains a crash avoidance space completely around the vehicle. The crash avoidance space is managed by adjusting the vehicle's speed and road position. In wet weather, you need to double your stopping time, so you will need to travel at least 4 seconds behind the vehicle in front. When you stop in traffic, e.g. at a set of traffic lights, make sure you can look down and at least see where the tyres of the vehicle in front meet the road. That way, if an emergency vehicle comes up the road, vehicle A has space to get out of the way and allow the emergency vehicle to come through. Mirror checks. A driver should use the rear vision mirrors on the approach to any hazard or potential hazard. Blind spots. A blind spot in a vehicle is an area around the vehicle that cannot be directly seen by the driver whilst at the controls under existing circumstances. Be seen. Don't position yourself in other drivers' blind spots, especially heavy vehicles. Get eye contact with other drivers and position yourself carefully at crossroads and T-sections to minimize blockouts. Truck drivers have certain limitations when it comes to accelerating and slowing down. Heavy vehicles need more room to make turns, and their blind spots are much larger than cars. Shoulder checks. Drivers must conduct shoulder checks prior to moving off from the side of the road, lane changes, as well as prior to conducting maneuvers to identify and manage hazards safely. Signalling. Drivers should signal in the correct direction long enough to give sufficient warning to other drivers and pedestrians when intending to turn, diverge, move into the edge of the road or curb, enter a line of traffic, and at a T-section where the continuing road curves to the left or right, leaving the continuing road to proceed straight ahead onto the terminating road. Thanks for watching. This has been Brendan from Watto Training.